What's going on, everyone? It's Dungeon here, and I'm coming back with another Elden Ring Beast Mode video. And today I'm clearing out the minor Erdtree Catacombs for episode 15 as part of my full walkthrough. With that being said, let me show you how to get there on the map, but don't skip ahead, because there's an Erdtree boss on the way. Alright, you guys, so we are right outside the Smoldering Church, and we're going to take this little back road near the coast down toward the Erdtree right here to defeat the Erdtree boss, and then we'll make our way into the minor catacombs. Alright, so, and you guys might notice I'm actually using a new character. Alright, this is my fire strength-ish type character. Man, oh man, this one is fun. Very fun character. I've used some lightning, I used some fire, I've got a couple strength-based attacks, and check out the weapon I'm using. I know a lot of people are going to be like, yo, dude, that weapon's trash, Dungeon. Look, it's not trash. I assure you it's not trash, okay? It's actually pretty cool, okay? It may not be the absolute best, and yes, the reach on it is a bit limited. It has some very strange swipes, like your horizontal swipes for R1, see? It's like kind of high, so sometimes you'll miss creatures. You'll miss creatures and stuff when they're kind of ducking down low and whatnot, so like, I'm not gonna lie, man, it has some weaknesses, okay? It's not like OP or anything like that, but actually I have the Flame Strike on it. And let's be honest, man, you put Flame Strike on anything and it's gonna be pretty darn good, you know, even if you're not like faith-based, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm rolling with. I've got Flame Strike. There we go. See how much damage it does, man? It does a lot of damage, you know what I'm saying? And the cool thing, here's the coolest thing about this. Uh-oh, hold on. Watch this. Here we go. Haha, yeah, bro! I couldn't even get my backstab on. But you see, it's like every single time when you attack someone, you gain, I believe it's 4, maybe 3 FP back. So you're gaining FP back every single time you attack someone, or not attack. Every time you kill someone. It got real good scaling for flame art, magic, and especially frost. Like really, really good. So if you're like a magic type character, this thing is pretty darn cool, man. Alright, I like it. You guys may not like it, and that's, you know what, if you don't like it, that's on you. You know what I mean? But me personally, look, I like it. Whoa, bro, let's not get hasty. Gonna kill my horse, bro. I ain't trying to do all that. Alright. I've been waiting, man. Oh man, you guys, I've been waiting for this one. Look at what I'm getting. The flaming shrouds here. And look at the green burst crystals here. Some of you might want that. But the flame one, man, that one is like essential. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta have that. You know what I mean? Because I'm a fire-based character. You know what I'm saying? I gotta have that fire stuff. So I'm actually going to, right now, I'm going to switch that up right now, actually. Oh, hold on a second. Let me go ahead and rest up here and switch it out. I'll be right back, you guys. Alright, you guys, so I had a little bit of issue with the audio, so I'm going to just go ahead and put the audio over what I actually recorded. Unfortunately, you couldn't get, you're not able to get my actual reaction, because my reactions to this one was pretty cool, but you'll never know. So what I'm saying right now, basically I'm showing you guys is the crystal darts. For those of you who have the ability to make crystal darts, or if you have crystal darts, make sure that you load them into your equipment slot before going forward. And the other thing, make sure you can remove scarlet rot. There's some scarlet rot in this area, so whether that be equip yourself with you know, flame cleanse me, or you know, some other type of material that you can use, a consumable that you can use to get rid of that status effect. And also make sure that you have some soap. Make sure you have some soap. If you need to be able to make those things, you can find the books to make, the cookbooks to make that stuff down below in the Siofra, I think it's Siofra River. Alright, and this one actually has a little secret, so down there you'll have to jump down. I couldn't actually remember when I was first recording this, and it's too bad you guys can't hear my internal thoughts, because I tell you, I was like, oh man, I can't remember if there's something down there, let me see, and sure enough there was. I haven't played at this map for quite some time, so there was a few things to think of. Now, what's interesting about the axe, because I want to talk about the axe again, and the flaming strike. The axe is that the downward chop, actually, the R2 is actually really good. R2 is really good. It's got a much farther reach than what you might think, actually. Scales, I mean, obviously flame strike, it scales really good with flame art, and so fate for flame art, and strength it is for the just regular fire infusion. So the only thing that's not good is that when you're using the horizontal swipes for an enemy like this, you'll just basically pass right over the top of them. And my build, oh my goodness, man, this build is so cool, because like I'll keep generating more and more FP, and then I can just use my like healing spells, you know what I'm saying? Like in this case, you know, I'm using my bestial healing spell, you know, and that one is just like a regen over time, you know what I'm saying? Which is much better. Alright, now, up top there are two imps, and I think I was thinking about using the fire spell, Black Flame, but I went with the Horn Bolt, because I was like, yeah, let me see. I wasn't sure, because sometimes Horn Bolt doesn't actually work indoors really well, but it actually worked out just fine in this case. Yeah, and it drops down. The problem is that it's in a lake, or like a pond, I guess, of scarlet rot. So, I mean, it's not like you really want to like go running in there to go track this dude down. So, kind of gotta wait. Starts walking up, and that's when I jump out, pop him. Okay. Yeah, just like that. And do be careful. It looks like I rolled successfully back onto dry land, because you really don't want to be rolling in that stuff. That's why you would want soap. If you roll around in poison, or you roll around in scarlet rot, you're gonna get it all over you, and then you're gonna have to use a soap to get it off. Otherwise, it'll just continually build the status until it procs the status effect, which, you know, is obviously bad. You know what I'm saying? And it looks like I might have missed one of those. Yeah, I might have missed one of those upgrade materials. The Brave Wart or whatever. It's okay. See, look at how good that does. Look at how good that. And I know you guys are probably like, well, I mean, you're pretty high level. It's true. It's true, but even still, it does really good. Considering that most people regard this weapon as like a trash weapon, it actually does do a lot of damage. And like the best thing about it is that it actually recoups your FP, like upon every kill. So it's really good. And always got to be careful. See, I was like, oh man, there's someone around the corner, I bet. And sure enough, there really was, because the game actually does like a really good job of like training you to make sure you're looking all around, because in the very first catacomb, it actually has imps like hiding around the corners and stuff, you know? So you learn right away, you know, and that's, you know, what's interesting is that people talk about how Dark Souls games will teach you how, like, the correct way to play the game. Like Dark Souls 1, I've seen a lot of people's videos and stuff, and they'll talk about how um, the game trains you to not, like, go certain areas that are too difficult because you're gonna get whooped, you know, and then you basically don't go there. Basically, I was showing right there is the reach of the heavy attack. But anyhow, getting back to the Dark Souls stuff, basically people talk about how in Dark Souls games they train you, and in Dark Souls 1, like you shouldn't go to the catacombs if you cannot deal with it because you're gonna get lit up and you're not gonna be able to kill anything. So then that's people's like way to learn that you need to go to certain areas that you could deal with certain things at a certain time with a certain weapon or the certain build, you know what I'm saying, when you're strong enough. And the same is true in this game, you know? Like you shouldn't be running around in Caelid if you can't handle that, you know what I'm saying? Like you first start off and you go basically right where I started off at that church. But if you move down towards this area, you're going to be struggling. If you have just beginner level equipment, you're going to be struggling. You're going to be like, oh, this game is too hard. Well, it's only too hard because you're going into a place that, you know, you shouldn't be at yet, you know what I'm saying? But there's other lessons you learn. Like, for instance, a lot of people, interesting, I watch these videos about Dark Souls 2. You all know, if you've seen my videos, you know that I like Dark Souls 2. I got a bunch of Dark Souls 2 videos, which, by the way, I have a mind to actually remake some of my Dark Souls 2 videos. But some people talk about Dark Souls 2 videos like, oh, the game doesn't train you on how to deal with the game. And then they complain about getting, like, mobbed to death by, like, swarms of enemies, you know? And it's like, well, the game trains you to probably try to pick them off one at a time, aggro enemies one at a time, and just don't like sprint through the game. Some people try to do that, like in Dark Souls. There it is. I rolled. You gotta get that soap. You gotta get that stuff off you. All right. And by the way, if you're looking to get the cookbook for soap, you do have to go down below in the Underdark, Siofa River. There's a nomadic merchant that has the cookbook. You can buy it off him. But anyhow, getting back to the thing with the Dark Souls 2, people are like, oh yeah, it doesn't do a good job training you on what you should and shouldn't do in the game, yet they complain about getting overrun. It's like, well, obviously you're not learning the lesson. The lesson is don't run through the game because you don't get iframes when you go through doors or when you go through fog walls. You get no iframes. So shouldn't that teach you, like, okay, well, I can't do this because otherwise it's gonna kill me. Yet people do it and complain. Like even Asmongold was complaining about that. Like, you should know better. You're regarded as one of the best Dark Souls players in the community, and yet you're complaining about something so easy to understand. Like, I don't know, man, but he was complaining so hard about Dark Souls 2, and it's like, really, I regard Dark Souls 2 as one of my favorites. I know that's an unpopular sentiment, especially when people slam dunk it for being bad, even though they've never really given it a chance to see how good it is. Here's something interesting. Some of the coolest things about Dark Souls 2 has been implemented back into this game and are some of the most popular attributes about this game. Alright? So if you know what I'm talking about, put it down in the comments. What are some of those things that we found in Dark Souls 2 that are unique to Dark Souls 2 that are in this game? Okay? Because there are a number. There's a number of things that is in Dark Souls 2 that is only in Dark Souls 2 and Elden Ring. And in fact, what was super cool is that before Elden Ring came out, there was someone who was talking about what Elden Ring is going to be, and they're like, is it going to be Dark Souls 2 2, and it's like, actually, this game feels more like Dark Souls 2 than any other Dark Souls. I mean, maybe it kind of feels a little bit more like Bloodborne to some extent, like all these like catacombs and stuff like that. They're basically reskins of the Chalice dungeons. I don't know. I know I've talked about this before in my post analysis of Dark Souls after playing through it a few times. But yeah. So anyhow, getting back to this catacombs. I mean, honestly, it's just more of going through the same, quite honestly, you know. Make sure that you're guard countering all of the imps. That usually wipes them pretty easily. Don't roll through the swamp or the scarlet rot. And at this point, honestly, I was like, oh man, I couldn't remember. There's in the Altus Plat Altus. Somebody correct me in the comments. The plateau, there is a catacombs like this, but it's way more confusing. Way more confusing. There's like several different layers, and that one's confusing. This one I was just double checking to make sure, because I was pretty sure you had to drop down in order to get to the boss fight, and it's at the other end of the little lake pond of Scarlet Rot. So down this hallway right here. But make sure you jump, make sure you don't roll, and don't get surprised. I thought maybe there was an enemy right around the corner, and no, there's no enemy. There's nothing around the corner. So and then this is that's actually seems like it's amongst the community pretty notorious for a boss fight, because there's two watchdogs. And I guess, so this is what I was reading up on it, and they were like, yo, you can use those darts, and you could throw the darts at the enemy, and then they will attack each other, right? And you'll see in a minute. I actually try it out, and don't get me wrong, look, I'm always gonna buff myself for the fire stuff, you know what I'm saying, like, regardless, because I'm like, well, what if it don't work? So I summon my guy, right? And then I start using this, and you can see it's like, okay, it's not done nothing yet, but I hit him a few times, and I'm like, okay, well, when is this gonna happen? And it like doesn't do anything, you know what I'm saying? And apparently you have to really hit them a few times to get them to actually like do that. And I don't think I hit him enough, actually, because apparently they will frenzy, but when they frenzy though, they might not frenzy on another enemy. They might frenzy on like you know. And you hear my character. Character's so loud. When she takes damage, she like be taking damage like she about to die, dude. She's so loud, which honestly is kind of funny, I guess, but at the same time it's like, yo man, you got to be stronger than that, girl, you know, like I don't know, maybe I'll go, jeez man, I think I might have to go back to Renala. I think that's the boss's name, so that I can actually go back into my cosmetics and change the voice, because when she's getting hit, it sounds like every single time she's dying. Like, she's crying so hard, man. So, for whatever reason, the boss doesn't attack. So I was like, alright, fine, man. And that move, you guys, on the Flame Strike, that move does so much damage, man. It does absolutely so much damage. So now we got the Mad Pumpkin summons, which obviously is really, really good. And here are my stats. And I don't know if you took a look there. I was talking at the moment. I actually was talking about the damage, buffed damage of the sacrificial axe with the Flame Strike buff. That was like over 700 damage. And like I said, I know my stats are a little bit high, but even still, that's really high. So, real quick, I just want to say, always, I appreciate everyone who's watching. And as always, thanks, stay cool, and bye, everyone.